Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another podcast. So,
I hate it already, Langston. My God.
anyways, guys, so this week we're gonna be talking about it's just gonna be a short episode where we talk about Daredevil, like the new season. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched season three, do not listen to this podcast at all.
But watch the hell out of season 3 because it's freaking phenomenal.
And then listen to this podcast. Or if you haven't watched Daredevil at all, watch Daredevil and then listen to this episode because trust me, it's an amazing TV show, and this season was literally like one of the best seasons I've seen this entire year of any show. I think. I
Okay,
don't.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Uh-huh.
Do you think, okay, when you started watching this Daredevil season 3, like the first episode, did you remember anything from the last two seasons?
I just remember about like Frank Castle, like the main things that actually happened, like Frank Castle, Fisk, and everything. But I do know that a lot of stuff happened in Defenders, and I haven't watched Defenders. I never watched any of the other shows.
Mm.
So I knew there were a couple of pieces I guess I would probably be missing because the first episode which I was watching is
Mm.
like he's just I don't know, he's falling off a building and everything, and he's like super gone. And I'm like, what the fuck actually happened? The last thing I remember was he was like, I'm Daredevil. Like he tells Karen Page, I'm
Mm.
Daredevil. I'm like, okay, so it's supposed to like start from there. Then I just realized that, oh
Mm.
my God, there were like a
Mm.
couple of shows like Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and all
Mm.
that shit that came in between that kind of interrupted that
Mm.
entire
Mm. Mm.
thing. So, um, yeah.
No, the reason I asked this is because I watched Daredevil season 1, season 2,
Hmm.
and I watched Defenders as well.
Hmm.
And I didn't remember a damn thing about any of the shows when I started watching the episode, and I was like, what the hell is going on?
Mm.
What is this building? What is this and what is and I didn't remember anything that happened in season 2, and then everything was coming back slowly, and they were able to nicely remind you of everything that had happened.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like you can directly watch Daredevil season 3 without watching any of the shows
Hmm.
to really appreciate it, because there's close it's a very like close knit story. It's very
I guess
concise.
you could, but then it obviously makes sense. Like at least to know about Fisk and stuff like that. Like why did he start
No,
Fisk
no,
in the
no.
first place? So,
That I know. Like, if you're familiar with the characters, and let's say you haven't watched Daredevil season 1, I mean, you've only watched Daredevil season 1, you haven't watched the other shows. I
yeah,
don't think you need to wait to watch them. You can
yeah,
directly get into season 3, because season 3 is a very focused story, I think. And
yeah.
the whole time I was watching the show, and they were bringing up stuff like, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, oh, there's Nelson, and he joined the other firm, and Styx died in some show, and then there's this and that is happening, and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of remember those things, but like,
Yeah,
it doesn't. There's a plot, like a plot A line,
yeah,
okay, which is very focused, and there's like little things that they do, like they just add from the other shows that,
yeah,
if you remember, it's cool, but if not, like, okay, the show starts off with him like the building falls on him, and he just ends up in a gutter. You don't need more context to something like that. It's like, oh, he's a crime fighter, he ended up in the gutter,
mm-hmm,
fine, move on.
mm-hmm,
Like, you don't need to know what happened in Defenders
mm-hmm,
to, like, I think.
mm-hmm.
So I would almost recommend everyone to just watch Daredevil season 3 directly.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point though.
Okay, let's get into it.
Let's get into it, guys. So, first things first, we're gonna talk about stuff that we liked in the show and stuff we didn't. Trust me,
And everything in between.
everything in between.
we're always
Oh,
plugging we're always plugging our channel wherever we
oh
can.
my God, that's basically our Instagram description. But okay,
Yeah.
okay, good reference, man. Anyway, so do
Thanks,
you want
man.
to start off with like the point you want to talk
Yeah.
about?
So, okay, here's what I thought. When I was watching season 3, I was so like mesmerized by how not not gritty and dark, but how seriously they were taking the job of telling the story. You know what I mean? It was very like
Mm-hmm.
they really like were focused, and there was no BS going around. It was a very like, it could almost be a documentary. That's how like seriously and real it felt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt that way while watching it. And like, the funny thing is, like, literally the day after, or the moment as soon as I finished, because I watched it like maybe yesterday or Thursday, and the moment after that, I had to catch up with Arrow and the Flash, and the moment
Oh my
like Arrow,
God. I haven't
the
watched
moment I
Flash,
watched,
dude. But yeah.
the moment I started watching Arrow, I was like, what the fuck is going on? My goodness, this is such a, there's so much like soapy drama, and lingering shots of Felicity like emoting like, oh my god, I really need you to do this for me, and I can't
Yeah.
believe Oliver you're doing. And I
Spoiler
was
alert
like,
again, spoiler alert for a lot of other people out there. But yeah,
it's so it was so cringy when I watched it, and I was like,
it
I
really
can't,
was. It really was. But
like,
yeah.
this could literally be like a documentary about like a fictional character, or a fictional documentary,
Yeah.
like that's how I felt it was. They took it extremely seriously, even compared to the other Daredevil seasons, by the way.
Yeah.
Season 1 I thought was way too overhyped. It was just like a
I mean, again, it's
generic.
introductory, so you have to like have a way to at least blend with
No,
the
no,
characters and everything.
people like ate that shit up like crazy. I mean, it was. I thought it was fine. Like, I didn't think it was like amazing or anything. It just felt like a cheap knockoff Arrow at that point, because Arrow was doing good at that point.
Hmm.
But then season 2 I liked much better, because it got a little more like personal, and it got into Elektra and all of that jazz. But then, like, I don't know. This season was just brilliant. I would
Yeah.
say this is like my top 10 TV show seasons like of all time. Like, Arrow season 1, season 2, Arrow, this Flash season 1, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, some other shows. We'll make a
It
list.
was it was it was a it was definitely I think the seriousness what they took in the show. There was no drama. Obviously, like that whole drama thing was eliminated, which literally takes.
Electra.
Yeah, I swear, like fuck, all that
Yeah,
was
there was no
gone.
like, oh my god. Okay, there was one thing that like annoyed me. I guess I'm kind of jumping ahead to that part, but the whole "I want to protect you." I was like, if I hear someone say,
I want to
I
protect
wanted to
you.
protect you," I'm gonna slap these people
Like,
across their face. Like,
yeah,
okay, we get it, dude. We get it.
like, dude,
Shit.
even
And then I went and then I watched Arrow, and then I heard it again. And
yeah,
then I watched Flash, then I heard it again. And I was like,
yeah,
do these guys like sit together and write
yeah.
these shows, and then half of them take the
The
good
reason I
stories and the
stayed
rest
away
are.
from you is because I wanted to protect you. Bitch, like everyone knows about you and everyone knows about fucking.
That should be a 2018 quote for every existential like
I
vigilante ever
swear, dude,
created
I swear, like,
of all time.
yeah. But definitely, uh, like as far as we're talking about seriousness, I think I liked about like the rage we see in Matt Murdock when he knows that Fisk is out, and that
Ooh,
continuous
yes.
rage that he has throughout the season, and like what kind of like drives him, like no matter what happens, like no matter
Hmm.
how hard he goes down, like even when he actually meets like Bullseye, the first time
Hmm.
he meets Bullseye, you remember that scene, dude? Dude, I think that was like that gave me a lot of goosebumps when I was watching that kid.
The when he's when they fight in the newspaper.
Yeah, when they finally get the
Hmm.
guy who has to, who's like a witness against Fisk and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Yeah,
at
yeah,
that
yeah,
point,
yeah.
and Matt is willing to actually like surrender himself and all that stuff, like
Hmm.
everything. And at that point itself, like that's the actual point they picked to bring in Bullseye,
Hmm.
which could like literally like firstly it could kill Matt's immunity and everything, whatever immunity he could ever
Hmm.
get, like
Hmm.
all that stuff.
Hmm.
So that was crazy, and like even obviously that scene was commendable. That entire scene where he's fighting Bullseye and everything, awesome. But
Hmm.
like you notice that he goes down, like he realizes, oh my God, there's someone out there who could potentially be better than me and
Who could
everything.
like, yeah, who could like
Yeah,
knock me out. And also I loved like in the first like parts of the first 2 episodes or 3 episodes, when he's like struggling because his hearing
yeah,
is impaired and he can not see anymore. I was
yeah.
like, yeah, dude, this is crazy. This is
Yeah, he was literally, yeah, he was here and there. He was not completely dead, but he wasn't like,
mm,
obviously he was recovering and everything, but like,
mm.
yeah, and like the entire dilemma of like he should do a dark side and bad side, and I like how they
Oh,
brought
by
his
the way,
religion into this,
oh my
like,
god,
like that
Langston,
connection was crazy, man. Like,
holy shit. this should be like this could also, like, I could see this. Let's say there's a new streaming service, okay? I could see, you know how there's like Bible movies and stuff, and like the Christian movies and stuff. I could literally see Daredevil season 3 being like in one of those sections,
It
like
could, it could,
recommended for you.
it could be, man. Like, dude, the way they showed like how this guy has
Beautiful,
like his
beautiful.
connection with like him being like a Christian or Catholic, and he has that connection with
Mm,
God and everything, and he has a
mm,
dilemma about everything that he does, like why he does it, why is he Daredevil,
mm.
and he tries to find the reason or the connection of saying,
Unbelievable.
yeah, like
I think.
the way they normally show that every superhero we see that they're like, for example, like completely disconnected, but like Batman, okay, he does it because
Mm,
of Gotham and because of his parents and everything.
mm,
They don't really
mm,
focus into it. He just directly
mm.
gets into it. But over here we actually see him being a normal human being and why he does what he actually does, like why he is
There's the,
Daredevil, and
the
that question keeps
there's
arising.
one line. There's one line he says when he's explaining to the sister. He goes like, I used to be confused about myself, and when my eyesight went away, I
Yeah.
was cursing God and this and that. And then he said, but when I was able to start hearing these people, I
Oh
then
yeah.
like understood that maybe I am the angel of God who is there to like carry out God's will, and save these people. That's why he's making me listen to them. And I was like, God damn,
Dude, that
where does
the
that's
chills, dude, the chills,
unbelievable.
the
That's
chills. Like seriously, like he actually went really deep into that aspect of character. Like I never expected them to go so deep into it. Like why is he doing what he does? But dude, the way they actually zoomed into that and just made
oof.
that connection, and there was no background music to like support all that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just pure quietness and pure
Mm-hmm.
math and like pure like real like literally what you're saying. We're seeing a documentary on a reality show. Like
Mm.
it's so much like that, dude. Like
It was unbelievable. It was like when they really leaned on it super hard,
yeah,
and it gives them a reason to be this way.
yeah.
People don't just like you and I. We can't just put up a costume. We can't be
No,
that motivated towards
it
anything.
was not
And
about the
like
costume
this,
anymore as well. It was more about him.
yeah, that's the thing. He's like, I don't give a shit about this stupid costume, this thing. I need to carry out, or that's what he thinks he needs to do. Like, I need to carry out this thing, but now I don't care about God, and like God has abandoned me, and I
Yeah.
don't give a shit. And I was
And
like,
again, I liked how they talked about like he talks about like how everyone in his life, like we see like everyone in his life, like
mm,
is gone. Like not, throughout the entire season, if you notice, there was no Karen. Karen was not with him, or Nelson was not with
mm,
him. So like his character was
mm.
again very like in a
Lone
position.
wolf.
Yeah, he was like
Mm.
lonely, like and still like we could actually
And
see
it's a
that
good
throughout
it's
his
it's a
entire
good
thing.
parallel between him and Poindexter, because he's also lonely,
Yeah,
and there's like two sides of the same card, or the coin, sorry. And then that's kind of saying that, okay, you can be lonely, and there are two people who are in the same situation, but then one
hmm
turns out this way and the one turns out the other way. It was pretty good. Let's get into the characters since we're talking about them. Matt Murdock, holy shit, great
Matt Murdock, I
character.
think amazing.
I never expected them to go so hard into
Yeah,
the whole angel of God thing, but that was
yeah.
great. Okay, I have to say one story about the Bullseye character.
hmm
When I started watching season episode 1, I was watching it with Saif and Michelle. Okay, shout
hmm
outs to Saif and Michelle.
Oh my God.
Okay, when I'm watching it, there's two, like, I swear to God I shouldn't have watched it with them. There's two really weird things that happen.
Wait, was
One,
this what you guys were talking about last week when I was on the phone with you guys?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, you froze.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. This is literally what we were talking about. Okay. Last episode. Yeah. So I'm sitting there, and then as soon as and like when they're escorting Fisk out into the thing, and he's getting moved, then there's an attack on him by the Albanians, and then like one of the, like, agent, what's his name, Poindexter, shows up and then like shoots everyone down really quick. Yeah,
hmm
like he like all of the FBI people die,
hmm
and then there's only one guy who kills everyone else. You remember that scene? That's early in the
Yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah, that's basically him, yeah.
So I was like, oh damn, there's some like really like the sharpshooter type guy. I don't know who this is and stuff. And then Safe literally goes like, oh, it's Bullseye. and I didn't know it was Bullseye, and
Dude,
I
even I
wouldn't have
had no
known it was.
idea.
No, I wouldn't have known like for the entirety of the show because he doesn't put on a Bullseye costume at any point.
No,
You know what I
he goes
mean?
Daredevil instead. He's like, I like that suit better.
No, I think it would have like it would have triggered when he's like becoming really like when he starts showing his abilities of never missing. And then I think there's one point where he's wearing, as a kid, he's wearing a baseball cap with a bullseye sign on it. I was like, okay, I would have figured it out then, and I'd been like, wow, this is amazing. But then Safe ruined it for me. Safe's a moron. Uh,
But like, anyways, what I'm saying is,
hmm.
I think the Bullseye, the way they showed his backstory,
Hmm.
I think I've never seen that kind of a backstory where,
Oh,
they showed his entire backstory in Fisk's house, dude.
yeah,
Like
and
that that house
that was
slash prison.
crazy.
Okay,
Hmm.
not who gets a fucking prison like that.
I'll commit all the sins
That's
from
better
a
than my
prison like
freaking
that.
room right now. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, they say it's a $20 million penthouse in New
Yeah,
York City,
dude,
bro.
that's prison for him, dude. Fuck that. Like, dude, he has like a fucking like crazy dude. He could party over there if he wants to, and like I don't
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
Anyways, so what I'm saying is
That episode was in black and white. It was inside his house, and it's told like
yeah,
really well,
they
really well.
showed his
Yeah.
backstory in that house, and like as a kid, how he grew up, how he killed coach. That was his dad, right?
Hmm. No, his coach,
Is it just his coach?
his
Okay,
parents. Yeah, his parents died before
yeah.
that.
So all that stuff and everything, like they showed the way they showed how he became. He's almost like the Joker, like his way of thinking, like his
What the hell are you talking
the
about?
psychopathic thing that he has in his head or his way.
Sure.
It's so much.
Hmm.
It reminded me so much of the Joker and somewhat like the Punisher. Like
Dude, he's more. I mean, Punisher. I'd
Punisher,
say
why?
he's
Because he
more
wants to kill
closer.
everyone,
Okay.
and he just kills everyone because he I don't know, because he hates them and he feels that they should. I think, but
No,
Punisher does it for a better reason.
I think there's a much clearer comparison that they make clear in this show, which is he's very identical to Fisk, because when Fisk was a kid, Fisk murdered his
Right,
dad as
right,
well,
right, right, right.
and like it shows that these two kids like were so twisted. I mean, these two guys were so twisted even when they were kids, and like there was no turning back for them. At like they were twisted like from a very young age, and they
Yeah.
are just like crazy. I think that was a. But talking about Fisk,
Hmm.
dude, one of the one of the most like ruthless and like unstoppable forces
Yeah.
for a villain. Like he had such a good like he had a great like a story, and the plan.
He
He
did.
didn't
He
have
did.
any plan. Here's the best part. He didn't really have like a evil mastermind plan. He
No.
just wanted
Yeah.
his girlfriend to come through, and well, there's something about like he wants to rule the
Yeah.
criminal underworld, but that's not his main objective in this whole thing. His main priority is just to get Vanessa to his
Yeah.
house and just be with him again. That's his main priority, and I and
Yeah.
I and I kind of like that. It was
I liked how
and
Fisk played him though, man. Like that was like pretty. And if
hmm,
you think about it, even in the end of the show,
hmm,
Matt kind of played him as well.
hmm.
Dude, if you think about it, in the end, the last of us, Matt literally just told him all that shit just to clear the entire way because Matt knew he couldn't do it himself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're talking about
the entire
one
thing, like
the
him going,
bullseye.
yeah, Bullseye. Basically, he basically
Hmm.
used Bullseye to get the Fisk.
Yeah, that was a
Dude, that
smart
was
thing.
fucking sexy, bro. Like Matt
There
never
were
did
there.
that. Like that decision what Matt made, where he tells him about this and he uses that to like this one, and at the same time, he goes and he saves Fisk's wife. Like,
Hmm.
dude, if you see the fight in the last scene, dude, it's like Bullseye, Fisk, and Daredevil. It's like
Hmm.
Daredevil fighting Fisk, and what do you say,
They're all
Bullseye?
fighting each other.
They're all fighting
Yeah.
each other. So like, I'm like, what the fuck is actually happening here? Who's
Hmm.
killing who? Who hates who?
And
Like,
okay, there's this one thing with like towards the I think second half of the show, there was a lot of like really like genuinely like smart decisions that the characters made. So like there's one scene. where what do you call it? Yeah, like they get Agent Nadeem. Oh, by the way, we forgot to talk about Agent
No,
Nadeem.
we'll talk
Holy
about
shit.
him. Trust me, we'll talk about him. Finish your this
Okay.
first.
So they're taking Agent Nadeem to testify. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and he does his he testifies, and everything is done, and then he walks out of the room, and Matt Murdock's like, "Oh, thank you for like being brave enough to testify and this and that," and then he's hearing what's happening in the other room, and then the guy literally reads out like there are the jurors sitting over there, and one of them just gets up and says, "You live in this block over here. You live in this block over here. We know who you are, and we can find you, and we can kill you." Because Fisk literally like planted and like bought out all of the like he didn't buy out everyone, but he just literally blackmailed the entire jury who was gonna make the conviction, and then that whole plot was just poof gone. Like
Yeah. And then
they tried to
they realized they could only use public to actually
see it. Think
expose him.
look at the like thinking about this. Okay, so first it's like okay, he realizes that he's gonna testify in court. So one, he sends people to attack him and shoot him and like kill him before he reaches the court. Okay,
Mm.
but if that didn't work, his fucking backup plan is that the entire jury that's gonna give the verdict out on him is already bought. So it doesn't matter
Yeah.
if they kill him or not because you have a second backup to the backup. And I was like, oh god, that's freaking smart.
Yeah. Let's talk about Agent Nadeem, dude. First, I want to say
My
something.
god.
First, I want to say
Hmm.
something, okay?
Hmm.
When he first came into the show, I was like, this guy's
I
just a
hated
cop.
it.
I
I
fucking hated
hated
him too, dude. I was like, fuck this guy. Fuck this
his
guy now. Like, Bata
his
Daredevil,
face.
yeah. Yeah, I do get it.
He's first of all, his name is Rahul Nadeem. What is going on with that?
And number two,
What
dude, his Hindi sucked. His Hindi
they're
was worse than mine, dude.
both of their Hindi sucked. And then one point, the his wife she goes like,
हम बाद में
um,
बात करेंगे. Like, fuck
हम
you.
बाद में
Like, what the fuck, dude? हमारा
no,
बेटा हमारा बेटा को डोसा चाहिए. Like, fuck you, man. You're fucking
she's
man. Talk properly, dude. Like, you're fucking
she
Indian. You're
she's
not white. Oh god.
she said something. She said something along the lines of we need to get a silver medal or we need to get a silver something, okay? Or I can't remember the exact words, but this happens early on. It's like first or second episode. She said something like we need to find the silver thing. And she says the word chandi instead of like hame chandi ka chamach chahiye or some stupid shit, dude. Oh no! I'll tell you. No! I'll tell you what it is. It was a silver lining. That's what it was. Like we need to find a silver lining. I can't remember. I
I don't
actually
know, man.
can't.
But dude, that I was like, dude, like, what the fuck
His
are they trying to
face,
prove?
his face was just annoying. I was like, I looked at him, and I looked at this, and it's like the first thing that came to my hand was. It's like in those movies, like the parody movies, when they're trying to show like a racial stereotype of like an Indian. That's what it would look like.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
guy.
Like, dude, like seriously, man. Like he looked like, in the old Hindi movies.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, like
he looked like one of the
Dharmender's counterpart.
he looked like one of the villains in those movies.
Exactly, yeah.
Like
It's like who?
those dumb kind of villains who think they're so
Hmm,
cool, but they're
hmm,
actually like not that cool. But yeah,
hmm.
but
Yeah,
like
he looked like what Dharmender would punch in the face at the end of the movie.
anyway, so that happened. But like I thought, so when he was the one who actually brought Fisk out and everything, I was
Hmm,
thinking this is the guy who might go dark side to get shit done, which kind of did
hmm,
happen, but not
hmm,
entirely. Like he did
hmm,
slip in, but he slipped in because only to protect us again, to protect my family. But at least he didn't say
fuck.
that, so I'm happy about that.
Hmm, hmm. But he was a
But
phenomenal
he
character.
was
He
phenomenal
was an
because, dude, if you think about it, whatever he did was very real.
hmm,
Like
hmm,
what a real person would actually do. Like he had a family, he is an FBI agent. He
hmm,
knows his family will die if he
hmm,
does something bad against Fisk, because he knows what Fisk does.
hmm.
Like he
That
goes
was a
after,
smart
yeah, he
decision.
goes after Daredevil and everything, and he knows, and because Fisk says he's bad, but he also
Hmm,
takes time to pay attention to the reason why Daredevil might be right. Like
hmm.
he actually agrees to go and search into Bullseye's house and everything
Yeah,
else, and
yeah,
he does everything. He still listens to Matt and everything,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he knows. Like he knows what is right and what is wrong.
Hmm.
Obviously, he got blinded at first, but then he still knows what is the right thing to do. And then
Yeah.
when it comes to confessing, he still confesses and everything, and he
He
knows like
confesses. Yeah.
he he's
When
gonna end up
uh,
being like the worst guy ever to die and all that
mm,
stuff.
mm.
Dude, you know what was very
I
shocking to me, dude? You
yeah.
know,
Tell me.
one thing which I did not see at all.
Huh.
You know, when he goes to his boss's house,
Oh, that was
dude,
yeah.
I didn't see that coming at all. Like I was when he
I
confesses,
think
I hear this gunshot,
hmm,
and I'm like, what the actual fudge,
that's
bro?
that's that's the point when it like the show goes into overdrive because that's when you realize this
Everything's
whole
fucked. No,
time.
everything is fucked.
e-
That's when I realized everything
Exactly.
is gone. Like, dude, I was like, dude, what
You
the
can't do
fuck?
anything.
There's
Everyone's
nothing
bought
you
out.
could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I
It
was just
was.
thinking, my when did this even start? And
Hmm.
dude, even the way she was like, she acted like a hoe, dude. She was like, she she was like, what do you do? You think you can just come into my house and talk about this shit? Like what the dude? I'm sitting over there, and then I'm just looking at that. I'm thinking to myself like, wait a minute. So where in this show can I see anyone win? Like literally, I
Hmm.
just cannot see that
Hmm.
happening. Like
Hmm.
no matter what
The
happens, dude.
only the only winning thing is like
And
him
she shot from
like
his gun, dude. They got his
yeah,
prints and they collected his
smart,
data.
smart.
Dude, everything. Like they framed him. You know, that was the smoothest frame I've ever seen. Like one of the
Yeah,
smoothest frame I've ever seen.
yeah,
So
for
smooth.
sure.
She was wearing
Yeah,
gloves. I never even saw that. She was actually
yeah.
wearing gloves, shot the guy,
Hmm.
collected the data, and he's just
Hmm.
sitting there. He doesn't do jack shit. He just pisses in his
He
pants,
can't.
basically.
He can't do anything. He can't do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
He's literally put the. He's literally walked to the coffin that she just put the nail on. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Dude, I was like, oh my
Okay,
God.
there then
Shit.
okay, okay. All the characters are making smart. Like they're smart. You know. So even when he records that message, and okay, and like towards the last episode when his wife, Nadim's wife, ends up in freaking what's his name, ends up back in the FBI, and like Nelson, like they say, okay, we're calling Foggy Nelson to the FBI. And you know he sees his wife there. He's like, "What the hell are you doing here? You're supposed to be running away and escaping." And then in my head, I'm like, "This stupid woman cannot for the love of god understand that this guy was like doing this for her own good, and she's still like bitching about freaking, oh, I can't believe you lied to me and my son and your
Yeah,
son
man.
and
Like,
yeah."
what the fuck?
But then as soon as she starts writing, they're listening, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's a plan in the video, and then the video, and then that was a great
Dude,
thing.
that
That
video
was a
was
great
like literally sad. That literally shows how social media can fuck everyone.
mm.
Like I was just thinking, dude, like that's crazy. And the fact that they brought that video up in his wedding, dude, I think that's the best way to fuck someone's wedding up.
Mm. Yeah, man. Like, damn.
Oh God, I just wonder, like I'm
It's
just
okay,
thinking,
Langston.
dude.
We'll bring up a few of these podcasts at your wedding as
Oh
well,
my
and all
God,
the
done.
and the video of you, after nice late night drinkings and passing outs. That's the video that's
Whoa.
gonna.
That should not be there. Okay, that should not be there because my mom will see it, and then it's not gonna be a good thing.
It's like wedding vows. What the hell are you talking about? We don't have
Whoa.
time for that. We're gonna discuss this right now.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, I think there was one more thing which I wanted to talk about, and which I think it was about Fisk, but I don't. I
The
just not.
scene with Karen Page and Fisk.
Well, that obviously was okay.
Hmm.
You know the scene. Okay, so this is completely probably unrelated to the show, but you know the scene where Bullseye is grounded in the church. Number one, that church scene was fucking awesome. Okay,
Hmm.
you know where he was supposed to kill Karen Page, and he kills the
Right.
priest instead. So,
Right.
well, actually, in the comics, Karen Page dies.
Really.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I just like. I was reading about the shit online, and I was
Uh
like,
huh.
my roommate actually told me about this. Like, Karen Page actually dies in the comics. So when Bullseye
Hmm.
actually goes to kill Karen Page, that's when she
Hmm.
was supposed to essentially die, but the
Really.
priest dies instead. Yeah. So
Oh
they change a
damn.
lot of stuff in the story
No,
in
no.
that
I don't
sense.
think. I don't think at that point like they would need to kill. Like if
No,
they
they
would
don't
have
need to kill
killed.
her, but
Uh,
yeah. Also, her backstory, dude, phenomenal, like crazy.
First, I thought when that episode started that this is like going on for like a bit too long. I don't hope it's the whole episode, but it's like half the
Yeah,
episode
I
where I
did
was
not
like, okay,
expect. I
fine.
never expected that she'd be a crackhead, dude. Like, fuck, dude. Like, what the fuck, dude?
That's the,
Like, what the fuck?
so
Like, I never expected that, dude. That was so
she's
like,
she didn't do much to help like the crazy white girl stereotype. To be very honest with
yeah.
you.
She was quite a character, but then like when you see her now, like, oh my God, it's such a big change. And like, dude, that
Yeah,
first time when they introduced her in a bar, she's dancing on a bar, and like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, there, this is.
Langston had rewinded that moment so many times. That's why it took you so long to review this with me. Huh? You were like, "Oh wait, I'm still watching it.
I mean,
Just need to go through
it
this
was a good
episode a few
episode.
hundred
I'm
more
gonna say
times."
that it was a good episode.
Shut the hell up,
That's it.
Langston.
Okay. Anyway, so that happened, and like,
Mm,
yeah, I think that was really commendable. And obviously, that entire scene, that entire episode where they were in the church and they had to get out of the church, and his
mm,
mom was there, and that entire scene where his mom hides them, and Bullseye is almost there, and dude, like,
mm,
crazy, man. It was just
mm,
fucking crazy. And
mm.
dude, the part that actually gave me goosebumps was towards one of the episodes where when his mom is praying. No, like when
Okay.
let's say the nun is praying and she's like,
Mm.
please, I hope our son is like that.
Ah,
And
yeah.
Matt hears that, dude. Dude, that's when I'm like,
But
this
okay,
is not good.
I have a
Like,
problem with
fuck.
that scene. I have a problem with that scene. When you're praying, how many freaking times do you speak shit out loud? It's always internal monologue that you're
No,
like praying in
normally
your.
when you pray, you do pray. Sometimes if you're in a quiet place, you would pray a bit
She's
loud.
having a conversation with like I don't know, like a bunch of candles. Dude, what the hell is that? Oh, please. Okay, that scene. She's talking to her ex-husband who's dead now, right? Matt's father.
Mm.
She's talking to Matt's father, and she's saying, "Please protect him and don't let him make the same mistakes, or don't let I don't know, like don't take him away." I can't remember how she said it.
She
She's like,
she
"Oh,
she wasn't praying to him. She was praying she said our son. So like protect our son means like protect mine and my
mm.
husband's son, like that.
Yeah." So
Anyways,
she was talking to her husband,
yeah.
and she
But
was saying, "Our son."
whatsoever,
Mm.
like, no, she could possibly be talking to God, like, hey God, protect our son. Like,
She didn't have a son with God, bro.
oh my God. Like
And
when
it
you
could. Oh,
hey
also,
Sharon, if I go to you and I'm like,
also.
yo Sharon, can
Listen,
you protect
no,
our daughter?
our
Like
okay, fine,
mine and
fine.
ex's daughter, whoever it is.
Okay, one second, one second, one second. She could have also meant it, like
Oh, I can't even believe
how
we're
you.
having this fucking conversation, dude. Fuck it,
No, no, no.
dude. No,
Listen,
no,
listen,
no.
listen, listen.
This is
No,
not
no, no.
happening
Listen,
right now.
listen. See, you know how like in church, you call people, oh, father, and then sister, and then you come, my son, come here. I will, tell me what ails you and stuff like that. Maybe she just meant it as that, Maybe she was just like, oh, please protect our son. She didn't mean it in a direct sense, and he just overreacted. Did that ever cross your mind? It just crossed my mind right now.
I don't know, I
And the
didn't
whole
really.
that's why I'm telling you, she was addressing her dead husband in the thing.
Probably, yeah, probably. You might be because she said Jack,
And
so
yeah, and then that's why
no.
I don't know.
But
I don't know,
yeah,
man. There's some things.
definitely.
There's one scene where Matt leaves the thing and then she starts crying on his bed, and I thought that was the ugliest crying I've seen in my whole life, dude. Because she started laughing as well. she was just like.
Oh my. No, Sharon, that's how you cry. Okay.
Langston, go back and watch it. That's exactly how she was crying. She was laughing. It was weird. Like, I don't know if the director told her. I was like, yeah, make it a little weirder, please, ma'am.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Oh my God,
two
this is
more
so.
things we need to address, which is the
I think
long
as
ad.
far as I think this was I think I talked about everything I wanted to. Okay,
No,
yeah.
we forgot to talk about the 10-minute long scene in the prison, bro.
Oh fuck that. Yeah, and he didn't even have a suit that time.
That was a great scene.
So check this out. So first season he had the original suit and he had that scene. Second season
Mm,
they had him with the suit, and third season he had no suit. Like,
mm.
that's pretty
Yeah, it's
crazy.
great.
Pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
Now, now in the season 4 he's probably gonna be
in
nude
his
and he's gonna
underwear.
fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's
All
my
of a
bet,
sudden
guys.
there was a
Guys,
all of a
if you're
sudden there
listening
was
to
a
this,
fire.
season 4 he's gonna be nude and he's gonna fight. He's gonna be shirtless and he's gonna have
Langston,
they're gonna have like a 15-minute long
Yeah,
shot
scene.
of him
Yeah.
fighting Fisk,
Yeah,
and I don't know, a couple of other people.
and the Langston's gonna be speaking to Marvel, Netflix, and the Daredevil showrunners about this, and this is what's gonna happen. Yeah, and
Oh
there's
my
gonna be
god.
a fire, which is gonna burn off his clothes, and then that's why he's naked. And
Oh
then,
my god. Oh yeah. Last thing I want to talk about, the
hmm,
ending where they are fixing Bullseye.
hmm,
So I was reading about it, and apparently in the comics, his spine, when they like
hmm,
reframe it, it's
hmm.
made of adamantium.
No way, really? Holy
Amazing
shit!
fucking Wolverine reference. Dude, like
Damn.
adamantium is supposed to be a Wolverine thing, which it is, but I
No,
think it is.
it's
It's just
a lot
like
of other
it's
people have
well, yeah. A
used
lot
it.
of people actually do use it. Like I think even Iron Man, I think in one of the comics or one of the animated
Iron
shows
Man
had an
uses it.
adamantium suit. I think so.
The what do you call them? The Sentinels from X-Men are sometimes made of
Sentinel X-Men as well,
adamantium.
I think have it.
Hmm.
But yeah, so adamantium is like, so that's gonna be him, and so if that happens, he gets a new spine, which is fucking phenomenal, and his abilities increase, which means, and
Why
he
would
has
his?
more
Why
he
would
has
it?
more resistance to damage.
1 second. Why the hell? See, sometimes I think they took the show really seriously, but sometimes they were like they couldn't resist, so they had to put some cheesy moments in there. Why the hell in mid surgery when he's under like local anesthesia would
His
his
eyes open.
eyes open?
Yeah, dude.
That
Yeah, I
makes
was
no
thinking that. Why
sense.
the hell? Like, if I wasn't fucking like if any human being was going through that, and if I opened my eyes, number one, I would start crying because benchoots, you guys are like.
Lyson, you would cry. You cry all the time, anyways. So like,
But seriously, dude, like that
hmm,
was like, but that was pretty cool though. Like his eyes looked fucking amazing, dude. Like proper, like that was
uh,
seen, like that was freaking bullseye, dude. But
okay. I
anyways,
I I want to talk about two things. One is that in like the point when Karen Page goes to what's his name, Wilson Fisk, in his apartment,
mhm.
to confront him and try to instigate him emotionally, and she's talking about what's his name, Wesley, James Wesley, and she's telling him I killed him. Oh my god, that scene was unbelievable. And okay, Langston, I don't know if you
She has
noticed this.
balls, dude. Fuck.
Langston, I don't know if you noticed this, but this is how it was. Literally, the direction in that scene was literally like a boxing, not a boxing match, like a Mortal Kombat, fucking, what do you call it? Like a match, like a fight. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
like as soon as Karen Page is gonna start doing her start her attack, like her round of sweet disses, the camera kind of just lines up the frame into her. Okay, and as soon as Wilson Fisk is about to say something, they line it back. Oh, dude, if you go back and see that scene, it's unbelievable. That's
Yeah. Fucking my.
goosebumps.
Dude,
Mm.
dude, a lot of the scenes I did get goosebumps though. Like, I've never
Mm.
got goosebumps on Arrow like recently or anything, but dude, Daredevil was pretty crazy, man. Like that one scene where he had scissors in his body, dude. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like what the
Mm.
fuck, dude? Like, it's crazy, man. Dude, I swear, if anyone listening to this podcast, they have to watch the season because they've literally brought up almost everything in this show.
I mean, I hope so, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
Um.
hope they watch it. So we have to have like the spoilers alert thing because, dude,
Mm.
fucking amazing.
Mm.
Anyways,
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the one thing I didn't like, which is the last
I hope
episode's
this is the last thing we're
ending.
talking about because we have a long episode, dude. But anyways,
Yeah,
it's
I
fine.
love how you said it's gonna be a short episode, and we're at
Yeah, but
50
it's not
minutes.
not the case.
Uh, so the one thing I didn't like is the way that um like season 2 and season 3 literally end at like the same point, where Wilson Fisk is back in prison and Matt Murdock is doing his thing, and the Nelson and Murdoch are back together or whatever, and
Mhm.
it's just it feels like the season was it came like it started off at one end of the circle and just came full circle back to the same point.
Yeah.
I I that's what I didn't like. I didn't like the way the season ended. I really felt like someone should have died. Either Vanessa should have died, and then Wilson Fisk would just lose his mind completely and go,
Well, if she does die,
crazier.
then yeah, that's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, go crazier than usual.
Yeah.
Or if I don't know, one of if Karen Page died, for example, and Matt
That'll
Murdock would
just suck,
really
man. That'll just suck. Like, I wouldn't want
No,
that to
Matt
happen.
Murdock would be like there would be a falling out, like a proper falling out between like Foggy and him. I don't know.
No,
I
that wouldn't
felt
happen. That wouldn't happen.
like there wasn't something concrete that happened. Like it ended up at the same point.
Yeah.
All the characters where they were in the starting and where they are at the end are relatively the same. Matt
Mm,
Murdock is still Matt Murdock again. You know, he's
yeah.
back to his usual lawyering.
That's a good thing, though.
Fog. It's a good thing, but then it feels like there's no stakes left. I mean, like, what was this whole thing for? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Either they killed off Fisk, that would have been ballsy. I
Mm,
mean, or they kill off Vanessa. I don't know. Nothing. You know,
yeah.
it's
Well, I'm still looking forward to season 4 because I want to see what's
happens
Bullseye's,
next.
yeah, what's actually Bullseye's thing. And
The one thing I was praying for is like, I swear to God, if Elektra came back to life again in this season, I would have literally slapped someone, dude.
yeah, that would be like freaking Kyuki Saas
She
Kabhi Bahu Thi, like where if someone
exactly.
dies for the second time again, they come back to life, and I swear that would just be like annoying.
No, by the way, okay, does she die in season 2? She does die in
She
season 2,
does
right?
die in season 2, and she's again brought
Uh
back by the hand or
okay,
something. I don't know, but
okay,
like,
okay.
yeah,
Then she's still alive, and then in Defenders she's there in Defenders also. By the way,
yeah.
I think she dies in
Oh,
Defenders and
Defenders, I
comes
don't know. I
back.
heard it's like I don't know. I didn't watch it, and I heard it's not that great. So I don't even think I'm
The
ever gonna watch
villains, the villains were stupid, but it's just 8 episodes. So I mean,
it. Yeah.
might as well
So, anyways, I think that's all we have for Daredevil. Again, phenomenal show. You guys have to
watch
watch
it.
it. Season 3 was fantastic. I mean, there was so much more. There's so much in this show that you will actually get from, and like if you guys have watched it, amazing. Um, anything else you have to say?
No, man,
Uh,
I just think this was yeah. I
yeah.
can't believe this is gonna be a 45-minute long
Yeah,
episode this
but
time.
fucking amazing. I mean, think of if you're watching Daredevil, do think of it as 14 episodes. So once you finish the last episode, you're gonna watch this podcast or listen to this podcast. So
Hmm.
same thing.
Hmm. Oh
Anyways,
yeah,
guys,
it's about the same time.
yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
you're
much the
right.
same thing. So I hope you guys actually like enjoy this podcast, and I hope you guys please do comment on our video and let us know what you think about what we feel. Very weird way to say it. Anyway.
Man, that's fucking the weirdest. What the hell? Did you just okay? You said, please comment on our videos and tell us about
The
the
way
way
we
that we feel. We didn't talk about our feelings or anything. It's not like, wow,
Oh
I'm in
God,
a relationship dilemma.
this is
Tell me
this
how
is
should I
pretty crazy.
feel.
This is so funny. Oh my God. Anyways, guys, let us know what you think. Comment below, and I hope you guys have an amazing week ahead.
Hmm.
All right. So yeah, peace out, bitches.
Peace.